anyway. Well, damn, man, it's good to see you after 10 years.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't feel that estranged from you because we're talking all the time.
Yeah.
If I hadn't talked to you for 10 years,
you're right.
Then you'd be like,
yeah, you're right. It doesn't. It feels like it hasn't been 10 years.
Right.
Exactly. You ever thought about shaving your stash off?
Nah, man. I had it since I've been 5 years old.
I've had mine for 40 years. 40 years. But once it turned gray, it didn't add anything to my looks. I think it made me look older. And everybody, when I shaved it off in Charleston, all the girls said, "Oh man, makes you look 10 years younger without that gray fucking mustache."
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh well. Oh well. I've gotten used to it now. It don't bother me."
Hold on, before you take that, you got pain?
Huh?
You got pain of some kind?
Headache.
No. I'll take that.
Oh, fucking hell. Welcome.
Have 100 milligrams of tramadol. No. Yeah, that'll fix you up real fine.
Damn, I haven't done anything like this in a while. Will I get spaced out, Joe?
Huh?
Will I get spaced out? Will I start hallucinating?
Well, I'm loaded on this shit all the time. And,
are you buzzed on it right now?
yeah, I got about 250 milligrams in me right now. Keep down the pain levels. But I talk to these mooches, man, and they have no idea, I don't think, that I'm as loaded as I am. You know?
I don't think you look bad at all, bro.
No, I just got this neuropathy, and it's got to heal, and until it does.
And I can't look at you and tell you've got any. You still got that shit with your face?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean,
excuse me.
If you made me sit here and said, well, watch real close, see if you can see it, I might be able to pick it up, but not looking at you, talking to you.
No, when it first happened, I got a picture of myself on the phone. Actually, I'll show you. It looked like Quasimodo.
I think he's gone through some shit, hasn't he, Gloria?
Yeah, you sure have.
Oh, God. I was telling John. Oh, John met you a couple times. I don't know if you remember or not. Little John.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he remembers you. He says, yeah, we went over Joe's house one time, and I don't know. He was over your house one time, I was over there. But yeah, I was telling him, I said, man, the poor guy, every time he turns around, he's got some new fucking medical disease. Something.
Yeah.
Fucking shingles and paralysis and diabetes, and I said, God, man, I said, I feel so sorry for him. I have to put up with that shit.
Okay, this is the room that I spent a year of my life in. Yeah. A year of my life in that room.
A year.
A year.
Which room was that?
Lose. The Lose.
You remember that, Gloria?
Yeah, she's a good friend of mine now. She's kind of like, she's from a really big family, big about 5 or 6 sisters and 3 or 4 brothers. And kind of like merging this marriage, parents, and then they divorce and they get married to somebody else.
Right,
family.
right.
So she's adopted me into her big family. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a real nice lady.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we hang out a lot.
God, I'm so glad you guys got married.
Yeah.
I am. I'm just tickled to death, y'all. I was tickled to death when he said, yeah, he said, I'm going to marry Gloria. I said, I don't believe it. He's finally going to make an honest woman out of you. How long did y'all date before you got married?
About 30-some years we knew each other.
How long?
30 years.
Is that all?
Yeah, well, I met him, it's like half
You dated for 30 years?
A week or so after you come down from Ohio. Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah, I met her in 83. I met her the same year I met you.
Really?
Yeah.
There's something about this guy,
Yeah.
He just wanted to make sure he was right. That's all. Now there I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, it looks like Quasimodo, man. The bells.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell it there, but
And
I can't.
it put me blind.
Did it really?
Yeah, it put me blind, man. I came home one night. I couldn't see the road.
Oh, I remember you were really upset that night.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Really upset. I can't blame you, man. Start going blind. Are those shingles giving you any hassle?
Well, they don't even know, they don't think it's shingles now. They think,
Oh, good.
they think it's some kind of neuropathy, nerve damage from high glucose. And so I got a...
Why have you had high glucose? What?
Well,
Diabetes.
diabetes.
Diabetes?
But even though it's under control, my A1C was 7.1, which is damn near normal.
Your what?
A1C, it's called a hemoglobin blood test, and it has a rating of how well you've been handling sugar in your system over a 90-day period,
Right.
instead of just one day.
Right. And you came back good.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, well, good.
So I'm just hoping that the damage, whatever it is, will heal. Everything in your body will heal other than kidneys. You damage your kidneys, you're done. They don't heal.
Ralph's ex-wife has got liver cancer. And he's got a guy up there, you know, he knows I'm into the natural, you know, I bring my bag of fucking vitamins in there with a shopping bag full. So we got talking about it, he says, you know, he says, I think there's really something to it. I said, you finally coming around, huh? He says, well, he says, this guy that I know, he's married, and he's married to an Oriental woman. And he went in for a bypass, had a bypass done, and then they told him while they were in there, they said, every fucking thing in your body's blocked. You're just dead.
Yeah.
Go home and get your shit in order. Get your affairs in order. So he went home, and his wife said, let me try this, and they consulted someone that was a holistic, and put him on a diet with some herbs and stuff. 2 months later, he went back to the doctors, and they said, we just can't believe it. We just don't believe that you're all clean. 2 months. I don't know what he was doing, but 2 months later, he went back and he was A-okay. Doing it naturally with, you know, have you ever watched Dr. Oz?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to a guy that ran a GNC store. I said, well, how's your business? He said, well, since Dr. Oz got on the air, he said, what you need, bro?
Oh, I have to do that.
Oh, yeah, we're going another one. Here, I got, this is different. It's a little bit different. I don't know which one's better.
See, I've come to the conclusion that the allopathic approach to metabolic disorders is myopic by its design, because the pharmacological approach is myopic. I mean, everything in this world is multifactorial, especially when it comes to the human physiology. One of the better professors of biology once said, when it comes to the body, look at the universe, and we just found the moon.
Right.
He said, this is how much we need to know.
Right.
So I believe, just like I take metformin, and this helps increase insulin sensitivity in the body, and it's one of the rare pharmaceuticals that has value. It really does. I mean, I know there's people who work for Life Extension Foundation take metformin, and they're not insulin resistant.
Right.
It tricks the body into a caloric restrictive diet.
What is the name of it?
Metformin. Some people call it, it's glucovage.
You can't buy it.
No, it's prescription. Right. But see, there's a rare exception. I'm not for pharmaceuticals. I try to take the least amount.
Right.
You know, I took some blood pressure, but I take blood pressure medicine until I can find a more natural way to bring it in line. But
Right.
I believe in using pharmaceuticals like fire extinguisher. I can't let my prejudice of not taking the blood pressure medicine.
Well, you don't want to die.
No, I don't want to
Right.
stroke out. So
Exactly.
I took my blood pressure one time at 160 over 124. And I'm about ready to, I must have veins in my head like Teflon.
Yeah, really.
So I said, okay, I'll take it until I can get it under control some other way.
My cholesterol was a little high, and I didn't take that Lipitor.
Oh no, don't ever take that.
But somebody said, I turned the guy on to it, and he said his doctor said, he said, well, he said, Red eats rice, he says, It does affect your cholesterol, he says, but it's such a mild dosage. He said you'd have to take a fucking ton of them every day to make and have any effect on your cholesterol.
Who said this?
This doctor told this guy that was on it because of me. He started using it, and we went to the doctor. He told him, he said, "Well, I've been on red yeast rice for cholesterol." And that's when he told him. He said, "Well, he said it's just not that concentrated, and you got to take a shitload of it." So I don't know, man. My cholesterol could be high. Anything else you can take besides red yeast rice?
Well, become a vegetarian won't be a problem, but
Really?
you ought to feel better. But well, yeah, anything that's got a liver has got cholesterol. An egg has got 361 megs of cholesterol each egg. Okay. So, but the way I'm looking at it, high cholesterol is only one of 14 cardiovascular inflammation markers.
Right.
There's other things much more important, like lipoprotein A epoxin, C-reactive protein, that's the level of inflammation in your system, homocysteine levels,
Right.
Low testosterone, high estrogen. There's so many different things where cholesterol was singled out because you could scare people, in spite of the fact that half the people who have heart attacks have normal cholesterol.
Oh, they do?
Sure. So it just, because statin drugs will dissolve your muscles. It's called,
Right.
I can't pronounce it, I'm pretty good at pronunciation, but
Yeah, you are.
this is called ripopofuscinosis or some shit. But like this guy I knew out in Phoenix, he took it. As a rule, pretty physical guy. Within 4 months, he didn't have the energy to wax his car. And it was Lipitor.
It was liver.
Yeah, he said never felt so bad in his life.
Well, I didn't take it.
No, a good thing.
I didn't.
The damage it causes is permanent.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I probably ought to have my club. You had a physical recently, Gloria? Have you been to the doctor?
Yeah, it was high.
Huh?
It was a high cholesterol.
Your cholesterol was high? It was? How high? You remember?
No, it was pretty high though.
It was.
Yeah.
Did they tell you to take something?
Lipitor.
They wanted you to take Lipitor?
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
They want everybody to take a little bit.
Well, the pharmaceutical kicking the doctor's back for prescribing Lipitor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Doctors get a kickback.
They're all a bunch of fucking crooks. I'm telling you. All of them are.
I don't know if their intention is so criminal. I know that pharmaceuticals are criminally minded because as much as they lie and cheat, steal, and murder people. But when it comes to the practitioners of medicine, I think it comes down to, what's it called, cognitive dissonance.
Right?
Yeah, because cognitive dissonance, for example, there was an old saying that said, it's very difficult to get a person to understand something that once they understand it, will rob them of their livelihood. Okay? So if you're talking about busting my rice bowl, I can't listen to you. I got to defend what I'm already thinking. See, cognitive dissonance basically means that most people will offhandedly reject any information not in line with the present belief system or past experience. So turn a Hindu into a Baptist, and you're talking about a sales job.
Right.
Okay. So the
Right.
doctor, he's influenced by the pharmaceutical company. His criteria that he learns in school, which back at the 1900s was about 50-50, half naturopath, half allopathic. And of course, because of the journals, JAMA, certain labor unions, they just squeezed all the natural paths to the side because you had to write a prescription. See, this was what killed psychiatrists too. Psychiatrists hated it when they couldn't prescribe medicine because they said, well, what do? The other doctors go, oh, you're a psychiatrist, so you sit on a bench and you talk to somebody? That's your job, Why don't you just
Great job.
Yeah. So the psychiatrist said, well, we need to be able to prescribe medicine, then we will be seen as real doctors. Okay? So the way the mind works is horrible because the doctors all subscribe to conscientious medicine. So they've all decided they're not going to argue amongst themselves with their patients. So this Dr. A, B, and C will all tell you roughly the same thing.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, some of them doctors out there are pretty good, but you know, so many of them, they just, like that one I went to in Little River for 7 years. He never put his hands on me.
Isn't that something?
Never touched me.
You
Other
think
than a stethoscope.
You take your cat to the veterinarian, he gets more examination.
Unbelievable. I told it to a doctor in Charleston. He said, I believe it. Because he went all over me and did it way with us. I said, man, I said, this is weird. He said, well, I told him, I said, man, I ain't had a doctor put his hands on me. He says, well, it's a shame. He says, but I believe you. So evidently it must be a common occurrence. Yeah. Well, hey, how you doing, man? What do you need? You like it now? Okay, yeah, okay. Hey, man, you see Clemson? Yeah, man, well, that killer game. Yeah, I went up there with my son. Yeah, out the door. That's what it was.
There's your doctor's bill for what did he do for you?
God, $125.
They like
It was in there 3 minutes. Yeah, $125 for
But what's funny is 50 years old, still paying off his student loan.
Unbelievable. I had enough, man. Y'all smoke so much thing, man. What is that light doing on, Joseph? Is this thing on over there? You got that thing on. Is he surprising you with that?
Oh yeah, once before his brother was here.
So Greg's back in Ohio.
Yes, he sure is.
How'd you look?
He looks okay for, you know, a 65-year-old ex-alcoholic. I mean,
Is he heavy?
no, he's not.
He's not heavy
He
anymore.
lost it.
Wow.
So the travel club that you worked at, what was the cost? What was? I think TC said they could.
$79.95.
And you get what, 8 premium weeks? You said?
Huh?
8 premium weeks?
Oh, where I'm at in DC, it's $89.95 and it's 8 long, 8 short. 16 weeks.
And we're hosing them down.
$64.95 you get 8. 4 and 4. And then $44.95 you get 2 and 2. I made them do the 2 and 2. But the podiums up there suck. I got a couple guys who drunk half the time. Pisses the people off. They run out of the room. They storm out. Or, as you know, some of them storm out. How many of them sitting there pissed off? Well, I had a black guy, an ex-Marine, and his wife. I went in there and talked to him. I had a buzz on. So, I said, man, you spend $5,000 a year vacation? And I looked at him and I said, and you don't like this deal? I said, come on, bro. I said, it's got to be something else. And I said, now, say it, the talk's over. I said, why ain't you buying this? I said, come on now, man. I said, one Marine to another. Tell me what it is. Why aren't you doing this? I don't understand it. He goes, well, he said, you want to know? He says, that motherfucker was up there doing your presentation.
The podium.
The podium. He says, I ain't standing for nobody to talk to me that way. He says, I wouldn't buy shit from y'all. He said, and I'm sorry, because you're a nice guy. He said, and his wife was kind of, oh, well, you know, he says, but he says, I refuse to do business with you because of him. And he did that to a lot of people, man.
Well, you know, of course I'd have to say, well, sir, I felt the same way you did when
I did.
Phil felt bad.
I told him, I said, I apologize for him. I said, he broke up with his wife is what I told him. His wife left him. Figured maybe he'd get a little, oh, well, you know.
I can see why his wife left.
Yeah, he didn't care. He says, I'm sorry. He says, I'm just not going to do business. So I told management, I said, you want to know what I got in to buy? I said, because of fucking Dave. He goes out there and he's drinking on the way to work with us. He drives. And he's got a water bottle a little bigger than this, and it says he's got a B12 in it. Kind of orange looking. Well, I tasted it, and it's 50% vodka. And he sits there, driving to work in the afternoon, and I swear he's...
Good B12, man.
You wouldn't believe it. I'm thinking, and I'm sitting in the seat behind him. I'm saying, God damn, I haven't seen anybody drink liquor like they were drinking water.
Yeah.
And then he has another bottle, water bottle, sitting in the little magazine rack in the back of the seat. So I pulled that out a couple days ago, unscrewed it, and it's nothing but straight vodka. When we come out at night after we're done, remember we're there from 4 to 9.
Right.
That water bottle is empty. There's nothing left
That's
in
an
it.
alcoholic. Big time.
I told Robert, I said, he was standing at the door getting ready to get in, and I pulled the bottle out and went, he said, you believe it? Well, it's got to be fucking what, 10, 12 ounces?
Yeah.
It's a lot of alcohol.
He's
Yeah.
drunk when he gets there. He's fucked up when he gets there, and then he keeps going back out to his car. You see him walking back and forth. He don't smoke or nothing. I said something. I said, what are you walking around for, Dave? I said, you don't smoke. What are you going out of your car for? I knew what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said, and he goes out there and drinks that other 12 ounces of fucking vodka while we're working. Then he comes and ends up at the podium. And he's obstinate, he's argumentative, and he's very condescending when he drinks.
Great combination for sales.
Great combination. So this is the people off. He's very condescending to them if he asks. And he used to make everybody say, yes, Dave. Yes, he'd ask him a question.
Oh,
He'd make the
God.
whole, and he didn't say it. He'd walk around and, hey. So fucking Bobby heard about that. He told Mrs. Dave, no more of that yes, Dave shit. He said, don't be making these people, because a couple people complained about him to Bobby. You know, hey man, this is, I've seen him just get up, maybe just bolt way out the door, right? Just bolt way out the fucking, and you know, what does it do to the rest of the podium?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it has a bad effect on everybody else, you know. So I don't know.
Why do they tolerate it?
That's what we've all asked ourselves that. He and Bobby, the guy that runs the place, are real good friends. And I don't know. I don't know why he put
Well, I consider you a dear friend. You show up at my place of business drunk, scaring my customers out.
That's the way I
You
feel.
still come over and have supper with me, but until you
Exactly.
return to earth.
But I told Robert, the guy that rides with us, we're good friends. And I told him, I said, you know, if he was hauling his tours and I was hauling mine and he'd have no effect, I wouldn't give a shit if he was sticking needles in himself while he's on tour.
Right.
But when he gets drunk, comes in and does the podium, and the way they got it set up there, you can't go in there and resell it. You got 2 minutes when you come back in. You seat them, you got a few minutes, can't say anything about the program. You just got to look at a little survey and tell them, well, Mr. Wilkins going to tell you all about it. You get up and leave. After the podium's over, you come back in, sit at a table with a price sheet and go, well, Mr. and Mrs. Wilkins, with the $89.95 or the $64.95, which one do you want? Well, you know, we don't know. Second face. Well, TC, Joe and Gloria, they got some questions. Then I sit down. I answer your questions and I show you, well, I can do it for $44.95. I can drop it, you know, CAD, blah, 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 blah. All you got to do is hiccup. And I'm allowed 3 minutes. Being the second one in, I got 3 minutes. Then I got to raise my hand, and then a third guy comes in. And he's allowed to sit there till the fucking fat lady sings. And he can drop it all the way down. They got these little books, $2,200, $2,300. If the third person don't get them, then the exit girl comes in and tries to sell an exit program. These people are going, I'm sitting there talking to them, all of a sudden, I'm out of there, somebody's doing that. There's like old women looking around going, what? What are you doing on there? What happened to TV? It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, whoever came up with that never sold shit in his life.
And he worked for Fairfield. He was a director of sales for Fairfield in Aruba, is the nig that owns it. You know, Bobby sitting there saying, well, you know, you got to sell yourself. You know, I was saying, Bobby, when are you supposed to sell yourself? You don't have any time in there. You know, and you guys come in there, all they got to do is just burp, and you bring somebody in to drop the price, where the problem was never the price. You know, you're talking to people up there in D.C. where the husband and wife make $220,000.
Yeah, $8,000.
You're not concerned about the $6,000. If you fucking wanted it, you buy it. Well, they won't let you sit there and work the deal at 64. As soon as you, I gotta raise my hand. And then somebody else comes in, automatically drops it. And then you begin to say, well wait a minute, you know, I didn't even ask for that. Well, if I sit here for another 10 or 15 minutes, y'all will be down about $500 for this fucking thing.
I had a guy tell me once, you know, he said, the way you're all going to this Ocean Beach Club, he said, I think I'll just hang out here till about 5, and by that time you will be paying me to take it.
Right, exactly. Oh, it's just stupid as fuck. You know, I'm telling you. So on their particular deal, the podium is everything. That was my point.
Yeah.
I don't mind it in Charleston if some guy was doing a podium, as long as it didn't piss them off. But if they weren't that great.
Right.
When they came back out, well, I could spend as much time as I wanted. You know, to try to straighten it out or make some sense to them or make them see it the way I wanted to see it and get them back in the picture again. But up there, they give you a minute, 2 minutes at the max, and you got to get off that fucking table. And they come over and slap on the table. And if you ain't looking at them, they'll send somebody over there. Next thing you do, you look up and there'll be somebody standing behind you. It's the craziest fucking thing I ever seen. And all them great tours, God, Joe, you'd kill yourself. Because of the way they do it, you just know, you know, if you could sit in there, God flipped a table to me. He had him at $39.95. An old man and his wife. All he needed was somebody to sit in there, spend a little time with him, warm up with him. He liked me. He went down. I got the deal. Well, I walked up the thing, and Ken looked over my shoulder. He said, "You sold it for $39.95?" Because he was there. He expected I came right in and dropped it. I said, "Yeah, Ken." I said, "The fucking money wasn't the goddamn problem to begin with. The old buzzer could have spent whatever he wanted." I said, "Why go in there and drop the goddamn price anymore?" I said, "That's the problem with this fucking place. That's why we don't get any big deals. Because you guys won't stay there more than 2 or 3 minutes to try to, you know, to get a $6,000 stuff." I'm amazed that you guys get the figures you do.
Yeah. Well, see, our podiums, for the most part, are okay. They don't, you know, one guy is a little long-winded. I've noticed that some people...
45 minutes, bro.
Oh, he goes an hour, 20 minutes.
Oh.
It's just too long.
Bobby would fire him. That's one thing about him up there, and he's 45 minutes to the... He makes them put a clock on the stand where the slide projector is so they can see it. And he says 45 fucking minutes. If you can't keep it to 45 minutes, Joe, we're going to get another podium guy.
Well, that's the whole idea that your mind can only absorb what your ass can endure.
Exactly.
They figure 45 minutes either be done or take a break.
Right. Exactly.
You got to do one or the other.
Right. Exactly.
Because I've seen people switch, you know, the cheeks or yawning. You know, that's what you need to do. You get a whole bunch of people, put them in a dark room, and have some guy drone on and on for an hour and a half.
Well, you know, the thing that bothers me is I'm putting my financial success in the hands of someone else. Well, God, as long as I've been in this fucking business and how many mediocre timeshare salesmen I have run across in my life in this business, that I wouldn't I don't even want them talking to my people. They're in there doing podiums. You know, and then up there, everything is based on the podium because there's no selling when they come out of the podium. They tell you that 1,000 times. Do not sell the product. Do not sell it. Money only. I tell them, man, it ain't money only. Them people come in, they're confused, they don't understand. I mean, don't you run across that where they're not?
Sure.
Wow.
What's a premium week? I had one lady ask me about hot weeks, and I had to love her. She said, "Now the hot weeks, Joe, that's June, July, and August. Is that correct?"
There you go.
I said, "Well, I'm glad you understood that clearly." I said, "No," and I told her what hot weeks were, but
right. That's my point. No matter how much they pay attention to that, they get discombobulated and they don't understand shit and they don't want you to go in there and do nothing. But those tours, God, you give your right arm for them, bro. I'm telling you. Even the single women.
If we had them at Grand Getaways, we'd slay them.
Oh, God, I'm telling you, bro. We got a lot of single ladies in there, but they all make $90,000, $100,000, $120,000, all of them. They work for the federal government, even the black ladies. IT, work for the Fed, they all make $90,000, $100,000, $120,000, $140,000 a year. Every one of them. Every freaking one. You see anything under 70,000, you go, oh, they're fucking broke. I mean, you just don't see it. It's just amazing amount of income up there. And you see them come in and go out, just walk in. Man.
So, what I've always found really incredible about this business is the people that run the business don't read a damn thing about it.
Right.
I read the closers 1, 2, and 3. I read how to master the sales. You're not what you're worth, it's what you negotiate for.
Doing the podium, podium speaking.
I think I've got 2 books on podium speaking that I've read. Yeah, right here. How to prepare, stage, and deliver winning presentations. These are books written by men who are well respected in that area. So I asked people, I said, well, when you're doing a podium, I said, do you ever look at the crowd and try to tailor? I mean, if you got a whole bunch of blue hairs, then you talk about blue hair shit. I mean, you got one young couple in there, that's fine, but they probably don't have the money. You got 6 blue hairs in there, I mean, people 55 and older.
Yeah.
Well, don't be talking about partying in Cancun or getting naked on the cruise, you know. Let's stick it to grandchildren.
Right, exactly.
Let's talk about legacy. Let's talk about living the rest of your life out.
Taking the grandkids somewhere.
Yeah, taking the grandkids somewhere.
Sure, absolutely.
I got a deal the other day from some older people. And I said, you know, ma'am, I said, I know how you feel. There was a lady that was here not long ago, can't remember her name. But she said, Joe, I'm 75 years old, and lifetime memberships do not excite me like they once did. But my husband
I wonder why.
I said, my husband and I often think how my son and my daughter resemble us at that stage of life. Trying to pay off the car, trying to keep our head above water, that type of thing. So she said, I think my husband and I might use this for 1 or 2 cruises, but if it was just us, you'd never get our business.
Right.
But if I can give this to my children and my grandkids and ensure they have a way to get out of town, lessen stress, because life's going to get more stressful, not less.
Exactly.
So I think we give them life. We've done the best we can for them. At least now, why not give them a vacation? Because when we were at that stage of life, unfortunately, one of our biggest regrets is we didn't take our children on as many holidays as we'd like.
Exactly.
And so the reason we did was the same thing as preventing our kids from doing, you know.
Right.
And the lady looked at me and she said, you know, that sounds just like Bob. I said, that's your son. She goes, yeah, so I got 2 grandsons and I got a daughter, but he said, it's Bob that would probably really like this because he's always saying he'd like to take the kids somewhere but can't afford it. Her husband said, that's it. Boom. Right? So after a while, you really get the feeling you know what the hell you're doing. You know?
Do y'all access RCI and II inventory?
We just tell them that we access all the condos there are to be had. RCI, II, sandals.
I'll tell you, I think the best success I've gotten out of it is selling like timeshare. Because most of these people have looked at timeshare. They are familiar with the price of it is. And I think these travel clubs, where the benefit is using condos. I don't think they save you that much on airlines and hotels, you know, versus you and Gloria going online to Orbis or one of them. You probably could get just as good a deal.
Here's artist, you artist, talking about travel clubs and how they are the future.
Really?
Yeah, real nice article. We're going to put this on the website. It's from the American Resort Developers Association.
Right.
And think about it. I mean, just like I was talking to this guy today, I said, look,
I said, you know what it costs to run this operation? He goes, it looks like a lot. I said, well, I've heard as high as $16,000 a month just to rent the office and be able to use this resort as our location. But it costs $200 to $300 to talk to you. Secretaries, legal, marketing, on the lights, the water,
Sure,
everything.
everything.
I said, that is why you looked at $12,995 today.
Right.
But our method is very simple. I'm not giving you a gift. I'm not calling you. I don't have a building. I have access to one of the largest inventories of travel in the world. Their inventory is 3 times as much as any .com on the internet.
Right. Right.
You know, they handle, well, I went into a little bit more depth with him, but I said the point is, we have a website and a TV commercial. That's it. So for $599, I can give you that same benefit. Matter of fact, there's endless condo weeks. There is no limit to the condo weeks you can use. Period. And there's no annual fee. So it's like $59 a year, but we'd like you to pay it all at once.
Yeah.
And I got Hot Weeks right there. I said, you take one of those Hot Weeks, you're back to even.
How many weeks do you sell at the vacation club? What's the biggest?
We have 4 and 4 and 2 and 2.
4 and 4 is the biggest one you sell.
Yeah.
8 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And what do you get for that?
We save with a straight face $17,000.
And see how ridiculous.
How much?
17 grand.
And what's the annual fee?
$1.99 a year.
That's not too bad. Jesus.
Woo! So when I took him out in the parking lot and said $5.99, he just looked at his face like, shit, damn you, he was gonna sell me that crap.
That place is going to be in bad shape in a year or two, because I'll tell you what, a lot of people are seeing vacation clubs now. They're doing them everywhere. And you're going to get people that come in there and go, gee, this is the same thing they offered us up there in D.C. for $44.95. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's, see, we're gonna be the recipient of just not that, but timeshare people.
They're going to think y'all are fucking nuts. Y'all want how much, Joe?
$5.99.
No, I mean, for your vacation club over here, you want $16,000? Well, we were just up in D.C. and we could have bought 8 weeks for $8,900. 16 weeks.
I said, why didn't you?
Why, well, yeah, but they're going to say, and it's exactly the same thing you're selling here. Hot week, same verbiage.
Yeah,
Well, you don't think they're going to buy your deal, do you?
no.
No.
Well, especially when they go out on the internet and go on eBay.
Right.
I can't understand why.
Are they on eBay?
Yeah.
Vacation clubs?
Sure. Points, weeks.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But I can't understand, like, Kevin Jones, he's a brilliant guy. I mean, you have to be to accomplish what he has. But not to go out on eBay and a 3-bedroom townhome, Kings Creek, $10.
You're kidding.
And there's another one for $5. Now,
You're kidding.
why wouldn't you just go out and spend the $10 and bring that inventory back in? Why would you want somebody from the front line selling a $28,000 deal to go out on eBay and say, oh, what a deal we got today?
Right.
It's either $23,000 or $8.
Right. Marriott had a clause if they wanted to sell it, that Marriott had first right of refusal. That way, if they were selling it for $100, Marriott wouldn't let them put it on. They wanted, 20 grand for it. They said, fuck you, go ahead and advertise it. But yeah, that's what they used to do. I don't know what they're doing now, though. But I've talked to a guy there, he said, it ain't like it used to be, TC.
You want the Marriott?
Mm-hmm. He said, it's changed, man, big time. I said, well, that doesn't surprise me. Not at all.
Well, the problem with that business, and like I told Gloria, I'd like to write a book called The Last Resort. Before you give a tour, take a tour, govern those who do, this book's for you. And
The Last Resort. That'd be a good name for a book.
yeah. And one of the chapters is always remember it's the salesman's fault in every case. Marketing, the immaculate deception, management, how Hitler will end up running your resort. See, there's 4 different classifications of management style. There's subsets of them, but it's the performer, the manipulator, the conqueror, and the quiet man. I prefer the quiet man. He's usually the most intelligent because he tries to motivate and direct people through his intellect instead of his bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see this, I call it managitis. It's quite a disturbing transformation you see in people. There was one guy that worked down at Blue Green, and they made him the line of the frontline manager. This guy went from a regular human being to lose weight.
Oh, I believe it.
You know, I said, hey man, this is 6 people you're running here, or 7 people. You're not the head of IBM.
Really?
Okay. No one, Forbes magazine will go to press no matter what you say.
Right.
Right. And, but they get this this walk, this managerial wheel. You know, this, I don't know what you call it. Some people call it a scumbag sense of entitlement. Yeah. Look, they had this one girl, the laughing hyena, remember?
Oh, yeah,
Athena
yeah.
the hyena. That's a nickname I gave this lady because she laughed like a hyena getting a colonoscopy. And
Where was this at?
Blue Green.
Oh, at Blue Green.
Yeah. Oh man, they made her like manager for 3 days or something, and they just had to get rid of her out of that position. Everybody's ready to kill her.
Is that big giant Keith still there?
Yeah. Boy, he's a worthless fuck.
So if you block the sun out when he come in the fucking doorway,
Yeah.
man, I could hear him coming down the hall in there in Myrtle Beach. That big ass fucking, what do you weigh, about 350?
He's so fat you could hear him struggling to breathe.
Really?
Yeah, you can't get that big.
Yeah. Did you talk to Dudall lately?
2 days ago.
You did.
And I told him you was going to, you were on your way to Virginia to see me.
How's you doing?
Good, as far as I can know. Yeah. Sounds like you're doing fine.
Still doing his websites and all that shit?
Yeah. He's made himself quite a niche with that.
Really?
Yeah, he's done real well.
So he's got a little reputation now.
Sure, absolutely. I'm gonna have him help us with a new website. We
Oh,
need
yeah.
about 5 different websites for our business.
What's he charging for a website now? 4,000 or 5,000?
I don't think it'd be that high, a couple
No.
grand. He's got to stay competitive.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
He can't price himself right out of the
Well,
board.
it's been his life for 20 years, man.
Yeah,
He lives in front of that computer.
that's the only thing I got against that job. I just wouldn't want to sit in front of that computer hour after hour.
He's always in front of it, man. In front of that damn computer. Yeah.
After get out, you know, haul ups.
I want to get outside once in a while, man. Smell the air and, God, Jesus. Are you working part-time, Gloria?
Actually, the lady that we stayed with, for that.
Don't tell me she was your boss.
No, no.
Oh.
We're staying there. We can't be, like I said, she's the one that became a good friend of mine,
Oh,
and also she adopted me into her family.
really?
She does, of course, house cleaning for some of the ladies in the area, and so, of course, I've been kind of helping her with that.
Oh, you have?
Because part of what she makes. And she also just opened up, her daughter and her have gone into business, and it's off of Bacon Avenue in Lafayette. Little corner shop there. It's called the Flaky Bakers and Nana's Nook. And she has...
Lacey Bakers?
Yeah, that's her daughter, Jennifer. She runs that part. Does the bakery goods and coffees and
Really?
yeah.
How's that? Doing well?
Well, they're still, they still got to catch up on rent. They're still behind. And
Oh.
there is the guy Ranger. He, of course, is the guy that had money to. So we've got this for rent sign right out in the front the day they opened up. So yeah, so he keeps coming in there threatening to shut them down if they don't get
Really?
caught up. Yeah. So
What a prick.
yeah. So.
What a prick. Well, hey man, you gotta just do what you gotta do to stay alive, man.
Yep.
Just keep your head above water. Yeah, man, I like your apartment, but this is nice. Nice and comfy.
I'm still thinking about that sales process, man. I gotta put that in.
Is that the most insane thing you've ever seen in your life? You ever heard in your life?
But see, what this shows, a mediocre mind without any basic knowledge of sales has somehow become in control. You know?
Oh, you just can't beat on these DC tours. I said, bullshit, man. What do you think we sold in Williamsburg, Marriott, and the Manor Club? DC tours. You beat the shit out of them like you do everybody else. You work them the same way. The only difference is if you can talk them into it, they can buy it.
Yeah.
Really.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. And that's what just killed me to see those tours, man. I had a Chinese surgeon and his wife. And they made me get off the table. I could have gotten the deal and the money was no. That's there, you know. He said, well, flip it. And when I finally got off the table, I said, Bobby, the motherfucker's a surgeon. It ain't money. Got nothing to do with it. 8 grand, 10 grand, motherfucker. Chinky could fucking do anything he wants to do. I said it just needs to be sold. I had him talk to somebody about selling a timeshare. Of course, they gave him a great figure, and she was off. But you know, yeah, gotta get off the table. So I got off, and another guy come in there. They didn't like him, so they blew out. They walked out.
Yeah, I talked to Benjamin Gate one night, the guy that wrote the closers, and I asked him about the podium presentation. He says, well, he said it has the advantage of being able to give a lot of information pretty quickly, but it ought to be kept really quick because the backbone of sales is one-on-one relationships, not podiums, not people speaking. He said it's that one-on-one relationship.
Exactly.
He said you try to replace that with anything else and do so at your peril.
Right.
He said your sales are going to go into the toilet.
Right.
So if I use a podium, make it quick, make it factual, and get that mindset, and then allow the salesperson to say, you know, like I tell people, I said, you know why we give a podium presentation? They always say no. And that's because the company wants everybody to hear exactly the same thing. And this is the only way they can be sure that occurs. And why would they do that? Yeah.
Incredible and legal and
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if there's somebody good doing the podium, I'm not opposed to it, putting them in there, because actually it gives me a 45 fucking minute break. I can go smoke a cigarette, go get something to
Well,
drink.
we gotta sit with it.
I would never do that. They would not get me to work there. That's the most insane. It does absolutely not 1 ounce of good. It doesn't.
I know it doesn't.
It's not going to change them people 1 degree, but it just tortures the fucking salesperson. Sit in there and listen to that shit 2 or 3, or we do it 4 times up there on Saturdays. Just sit in that podium 4 times a day and listen to the same. I just walked, the black guy does it. And I was just sitting there and listening, because I wanted to hear what he was saying to my people. He says the exact same fucking words. I can mouth his presentation as he's saying. I can say the words before him. Remember, folks, it's the whole week for the whole family for $3.99. Alex says exactly the same verbiage. He says the exact same thing, no matter how he does it, when he does it, how many people's in the room. So anyway, you know, it's just to sit in there and listen to that 4 or 5 times or 10 times a week. I wouldn't do it. I can't believe they make y'all do it.
I've never heard of any other travel club that does.
Why can't you tell him, why won't he try and experiment?
He did, you know.
For a week.
Well, the guy that runs the place believes that in the carny push, okay? You're familiar with the carny push?
No, not really.
Well, the carny push was back in the old days. They would have guys who worked for the carnival get behind the crowd. And if there's a big enough crowd, they would have like 5 of these guys in the back. So when the guys would open up the tent, this was the cue for the carny pushers to slowly start nudging the people towards the tent. So they called it the carny push, and it worked. Okay?
Sure it did.
So he believes that we're in there laughing at the jokes, interacting with the podium speaker, that this is going to add maybe a positive energy to the room. But I can see what he's thinking, but I don't believe I mean, I sit right behind my people, just like 2 feet behind them.
Well, how many of y'all are in there laughing and joking and interacting with the podium guy after you sat in there for 30 fucking times?
I never do.
Does anybody else? Do they do interact with him?
Oh, yeah, laugh.
Oh, they really?
Matter of fact, I had one of the salesmen said, Dan, he says, I'm embarrassed. I go, what? He said, my lady, he says, she said, honey, she said, those laughs are so fake.
That's exactly
She says,
what
how can you, she says, what, how, she said, how in the world can you make me believe that you've heard this over and over and over
and you're laughing at
and you
that
think
joke.
it's so funny?
I agree. When they become suspect, you become suspect. One thing that they don't agree with, one thing that sounds off the wall and bullshit, that everything is questionable from that point. That's the reason I don't like anybody else talking to my people. I want to pick them up and do the paperwork. I don't want anybody to come in there and say anything to them, talk to them, unless maybe you're from Oklahoma and they're from Oklahoma. I don't care if you come in and say, you know, hey, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't want anybody involved in my people, because they say stupid shit. They do, you know that.
Yeah.
You just don't, you're supposed to be a good salesman, Joe, and you just said, what? I can't believe it. Just befuddled me that these people, some of the shit that comes out of these guys. But so I don't want them involved in my deal at all. And when I started doing it front to back in Charleston, I was closing 48, 52%. Like clockwork. Doing it all, we had flip books. You know, your slide presentation, it was in a flip. So I flipped the same pages that he was clicking with a podium deal. Same exact thing, but I used my verbiage, what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, and it worked out pretty well. But anyway, like I said, I wouldn't even care if they said, well, you got to put them on the podium. They're not going to let you do it front to back. As long as I knew Joe or somebody that was credible wouldn't get up there and be a complete ass. So at least they come out of the room right side up.
Yeah.
That would be all right. Then if they don't understand something that Joe said, well, we didn't understand, I can sit there and I can bring them back in the picture. But to come out of the room all pissed off like Dave gets them, man, it's just, oh, wow. I told him, I said, I take it personal. Because he's tapping into my paycheck. Well, that black Marine I had, you're the boss. There's no question in my mind I could have got him in something, $2,000 or $3,000 deal. But see, the nigga that owns it up there, Pierre, he doesn't want anything but $3,000 to $4,000 deals. That's all he wants. Because he thinks they can't get there anymore. I don't know. I mean, most marketing companies don't want to fuck with DC at all. They hired one. And they've got offices in Arizona and New York and Texas, and he says, I'll do all of them, but I won't do DC. He says, I don't want no parts of DC.
Okay.
It's expensive, and it's just, I guess it's hard to get fucking tours in there, but he said, nah, he says, I'm not interested in bringing anything into DC. Y'all's benefit is, you're in what they call a hard store, where these places, it's so fucking Mickey Mouse, Joe. You walk down come in the entrance of the Holiday Inn, into the foyer, and you turn left, and when you look down the hallway, there's just chairs along the wall, and a table here, and then a table back up against the wall. The copier is sitting on a chair. On a chair.
On a chair.
On a chair. And you know these are just buffet tables with a skirt around them. I mean, it's very obvious as soon as you saw them, you know, well, there's a Holiday Inn. They put these in the banquet rooms and shit. It's just to sit food on. And then you walk into the room, there's nothing in there but the screen. There's nothing.
No pictures of palm trees?
Nothing. There's nothing in there. And when you walk up, there's not even the name of the company anywhere. It's just a fucking Russian girl sitting there like she's a doll, boy. No, dear God, no. I'm thinking, what do you have her out there greeting these fucking people? You know, Oh, God, man, I'm telling you. But there's no, you look around and go, well, is this where I'm supposed to be? Yeah. I told him, I said, man, why don't you get, package vacations, have somebody do a nice poster
Yeah.
and put it on a little, a little tripod, sit out there in the hallway so somebody look down and go, there it is.
Yeah.
And have something in the, they just give them ice water. Can't get anything else to drink, no coffee in the morning, it's ice water. It's just so fucking just cheaply done. I mean, I don't know. Man, like I was talking to John, I said, if Marriott had this vacation club and they chose to do it in one of their hotels, it would be fucking first class. You can bet your ass on that, Joe.
Yeah.
If Marriott decided, well, we're going to do it, we're going to use our hotels, same thing you guys are going to do. When you walk down there, it would look, you could say, whoa.
Well, they're not going to the flea market, get a couple tables.
Exactly. They would do it first fucking class. I mean, it would be a lot of things there to drink. They'd probably have a little food for you. I mean, they would do it first class, and that's what,
If I walked in that environment that you just talked about, I'd turn around and walk right out.
It's hard for me to believe that people will go into a hotel, into a banquet room, and sit in a chair with nothing in there. You know they don't own the place, and they're not here, they could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And some guy up there with a slide projection telling you about a deal. There's no visual on the table, there's nothing. You can't see nothing. They won't use them. And after he's finished, say he expects you to spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to buy this product. I'm thinking, wow, man, that's just ballsy, buddy. I don't know. It's just, I couldn't take it no more, man. I just couldn't. The selling part of it, the flipping was the thing that bothered me about it.
Yeah, I guess it would.
Because I knew I had you where I wanted you, and I knew you had the money to buy it, and I know if I sat here for a few minutes, I was gonna get a deal. But no, I gotta raise my hand and flip it and you don't know who's gonna come in. Bobby said. So you could get somebody in there that's a complete jerk. Somebody that you really don't like at all, or just doesn't have the expertise that you do, to go there and finish your deal. Well, if they don't get it, and usually the card's pulled on the second or third flip, so the guy that sits them doesn't make anything. You get nothing. If you sit them, break the pack, and look at the survey and go back in the first time, if the third guy pulls it, the third and the second guy get the split commission, you're out of it completely. And generally the card pulled on the second or third flip.
That's great. I think that's first rate. That's the conqueror. You are my slaves, and I will abuse you at every opportunity.
Yes. I don't know, man. It's just, oh well. Hey, it just amazes me somebody thinks that deal up there would work, and they just run those tourists through there, and they said you turn 30 or 40 away on Saturdays. I was thinking, God, man, why are you guys doing as hard as tours are to get? And you've got 30 or 40.
I'd love to be able to run the overflow.
That's what I told him. I said, man, Bobby, I said, you get ready to blow somebody out of here because you ain't got room in the podium for them. I said, so I'm not tied up. Let me do it. I'll go in and do a one-on-one with them.
What he said.
Okay, I'll do that. That was, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. Never happened because we ain't having tours. Never got that much that we had to burn some off. But it's just, I don't know, it's a shame, man. I'm telling you, they get some fine tours up there. I wish, if you guys were up there, you'd kill them. You'd kill them. But y'all got a nice store for them to go in an office, right, a hard building.
Well, Kings Creek Timeshare Plantation.
And you have to show them a model, don't you?
Yeah.
And what relationship does the model have with what they're buying?
I just tell them it gives them an example of the accommodations that people in the club get.
So they have no ownership or rights to Kings Creek whatsoever? No.
And it's so odd to work side by side with the front line. I never want to work the front line again.
Really?
I won't. I decide not to. I mean, some of those tours are horrific. I mean, no respect for the salesperson at all. You know, bring in 2 dots from Bangladesh and they're riding a fucking goat. I think they're NQ'd, aren't they? No, there's a salesman, he got up this morning, you know, listened to his positive thinking cassettes, came in all pumped up to sell. Let's give him a goddamn tour that Zig Ziglar on cocaine could not get close to. Oh, excuse me, a single black woman who weighs 700 pounds, I'm sure you can't wait to get the fucking Paris.
Right.
So in the book, what I want, really the book that I want to write is for me to vent my grievance, like Sigmund Freud said, put it on paper, get it out of you.
You are too.
Well, just like APG. You know, I understand APG is necessary overall review of the salesman's effectiveness. But once again, anything that's myopic, anytime you judge any situation in business or in life with one myopic viewpoint, then it don't work. It don't work that way. It doesn't work. For example, there's a guy named Bernie Connie, good sales guy, worked at Wyndham. I seen him get cut at Ocean Beach Club to be replaced by a woman from Chesapeake who'd like to give sales a try. Now, I'd like to talk to the managers. Excuse me, you got a minute? The man you just let go was 20 years at Wyndham, running his own sales team, is a highly proficient salesman. You may not like his personality, but we're not here with personalities. The guy could do the job. You let these OPCs hardwire these mooches in here with no control, with no oversight. You wouldn't NQ a guy in a fucking iron lung, okay?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to fire this guy? Send him to another resort to replace him with a lady from Chesapeake who wants to give sales a try? What? You've got to wake up and smell what you shovel. Just like Mary Reinhardt. I swear to God, those people who get in certain positions become so zombie-like. Like Mary Reinhardt, she's the director of sales.
Oh, I know her.
Okay. I said, Mary, you have a good idea of the closing ratios of certain tour segments, right? Sure. I said, well, let me ask you this. What is the closing rate on single young women who live in apartments, basically?
I don't know.
But she walked away from me like heresy,
Right.
sacrilege,
Right.
treason, you know? You're fucking with me. I don't want to think.
Right.
It's just like you told me about Legier and the E2s, man. You know?
Oh, he went years before he made him show a credit card or a checkbook. Years. 5, 6, 7, 8 years before he ever made him show anything. And he taken E2. You know, Marriott did the same thing. Marriott's just fired probably a dozen presidential levels. If I'd have gone back, I would have been presidential. There's probably 25 of them existing now. Because what happens with Marriott, if you go to like an Ocean Watch, if you go there at the beginning and you're a top salesman, well, after 2 or 3 years, your people that you sold are coming back to stay at the resort. You get to see them. They come in-house. They, you know, one line on both. So after you're there for a while, Joe, all you see is your owner. And you say to me, TC, I reloaded them last year and the year before. How many times can I reload these same fucking people? I mean, I've got them up to their fucking hill. Then your number drop, they fire you. Have you ever heard anything that they wouldn't see that had to be the case? If you got to a presidential level with Marriott, you sold $20 million worth of their shit. So obviously, you must know what you're doing. And all of a sudden, now, they know that you're calling in-house tours, that your numbers drop. Well, it's starting to happen to me at Ocean Watch. And I was there since the birth of the fucking place. And sold more than anybody there, so I started seeing nothing but my fucking owners. I gave up all my owners before I left. Because it was just getting all I talked to. I wanted some fresh meat. But they were booked to come in. And if they're booked to come in and they're your owners, you're going to take them. So I was seeing every day what I was seeing. The owners I saw last year, and they all come in for $100. And they're nice about it. Yeah, TC, we know. Same thing we told you last year. We ain't buying no more. You know, the year before.
We'll say that
The year before.
And next year.
This year. You know, we gave them $100. Can you blame them? You know, they come in for the fucking free gift, but what do? It's just, then your numbers begin to drop, and then Marriott, instead of what they should do, is transfer you.
Yeah.
They said, God, this guy's a presidential in Hawaii, he's been there since day one, he's talking to all his owners. Rather than fire him, let's tell him, well, you've got no choice, but we're going to move you someplace else. So you'll talk to fresh meat again, and somebody else will talk to you.
Build a new resort.
Sure, but they don't do that. They fire them. It's insane, man, I'm telling you, it's just, I don't know.
Well, see, the level of education, and even though those who go to university are suspect anymore, I mean, it used to be in college to have a 4.0 average was a rare thing.
Right.
I mean, there was actually collegiate schools that would have plaques of 20 years and have that many names on it of the students who got 4.0 through the whole year, through the whole experience. Now, you go to community college, there's like 1,600 names on the plaque for that month. I mean, yeah, it just, the standard, I mean, when you look at a business like Ocean Beach Club, and they bring in, I'm trying to remember, it was 500 each, and they were spending 2,500. Okay, so they bring in like 30 salespeople, and they spend roughly 500 on each. Okay, and they run that class for 4 weeks, and it is the most ridiculous thing. You know, you read out of a piece of paper, then you go make a little mark on the chalkboard that you're progressing. This is your progression chart. You know, so you're sitting there thinking, you know, I should have did heroin today. But how ridiculous, because of all the people they train in the summer, there's not one standing at the end of the summer. Okay, so it doesn't work, so let's continue doing it.
I saw a whole class of 15 people at Marriott. 6 months later, they were all gone.
Yeah.
Jeannie, I was down in Florida, and Jeannie was working for, I don't know, Blue Green or one of them. And there was a magazine laying on the fucking table, and I said, what the hell is this? Pulled it over, and it's 7 or 8 fucking pages in this thing. She said, this is what you gotta fill out with every tour. You wouldn't believe this thing, Joe. You wouldn't believe it. It was a fucking book. It had like 7 or 8 pages both sides and all kinds of graphs and charts and things you fill. I said, you're kidding me, Jeannie. I said, they don't really make you fill all this out. She says, yes, they do. And you got to turn them in after you're done. And if it ain't filled out, you're fired.
And where is this?
In Florida, Blue Green or one of the timeshare places down there. I forget which one it was. You've done so many of them. You wouldn't believe this. As I say, it looked like a small magazine. It had more shit in there, and oh, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it.
People were so goddamn pissed off and confused by that point that
I sold the Manor Club in Williamsburg. I used to tell them, well, the model is across the street. It's 101, and the combination on the door is 4, 5, 6, 7. Go look at it. They couldn't believe that I did that. I've had a couple people sit there and sign the paper, and they go, gee, you think it's possible we could see the model, what it looks like we're buying? I said, oh yeah, well, I'll take you over there. So, you know, all that protocol and shit they use, it don't make a damn, man. As long as they like you and they trust you, they're going to buy from you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
well, you know, the people that make up these ridiculous rules never had to live by their wits. They never had to live on their feet, because if they did, they understand that this hubris,
Right.
it just can't exist. I see things that are so stupid, like hardwiring the ops. I mean, when I went to work at Boardwalk at the Villas on Atlantic Avenue, I mean, it looked like Zaire's unemployment office.
Are you doing your whole deal for the back now?
No, I drop them down to $9,000, and then they.
But do you put them in the podium?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah. Everybody. Oh yeah.
Well, I tell you, with everybody that I sat down there, man, I've given them a little bit of logic and comment, just like I told you before about, you know, I tell them, I said, you know, when I look at this 12 years ago when I got involved with it, or whatever you want to use, I'll tell you what I looked at. You know, if you ask me, TC, are you going to go on a vacation no matter what your decision is here tonight, I would tell you absolutely. It's not going to have any bearing on what I do next year and the year after. So you made the commitment to spend the money on a vacation, right? Yes. Well, what you're going to decide here tonight, there's only one thing you and this lawyer are going to decide is how you're going to spend that money. You like our way better than your way. And I would say this, Joe, how old are you? And I ask every guy how old, don't ask the woman. Ask the guy, how old are you?
I'm 60.
50.
59.
59. Most of them are going to tell you 55, 54. Well, how many more good years do you think you got? Another good 20 years, maybe? Well, what do you think you and Gloria are going to spend in the next 20 years? Doing it your way. 2,000 a year? So in other words, I ran into you, Joe, 20 years from now, you and Gloria are going to tell me, well, we've saw through 40,000. Right? Or 1,000, whatever they tell you they spend a year. You're going to spend 20 or 30,000. Well, where is it, Joe? Oh, well, it's gone, TC. It's gone. Well, when you went to Disney World or when you went to Myrtle Beach, you stay in a 2-bedroom oceanfront condo? Where'd you guys stay? So in other words, my argument is I don't think you stay in anything better than I do with this program. I've done it for a fraction of what you will probably spend doing it your way. And I've got something I can pass on to my kids and their kids and their kids and their kids. What are you going to give your kids? So it's a question of choice. Either our way or your way, and that's what you and Gloria need to decide. You sit here and listen to all this, look at each other and say, well, how much, Gloria, are we really going to spend on our own? If we live to be a natural 75 years, we live another 20 years, what are we going to solve through? I mean, we can tell TC anything we want to tell him. But let's be honest with ourselves. What do we spend? What has been our past history in the 8 years we've been married? Well, you know, hey, Joe, we spent $15,000, $2,000 a year. Well, if you continue that 20 years, you guys are going to fall through $40,000. You like your plan better or our plan better? And I'm going with a show. It just seems to get them in a little bit more. I think that's one of the reasons I didn't have many cancellations. Because when they get back home and they say, well, you know, remember what we were talking about, how much we would spend on our own, Joe? Oh, yeah, Gloria, yeah, I mean, yeah, we probably saw through $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 before we die. Well, shit, you got $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 tied up in this. It's got to be a better deal than what we're doing. And I think that's why they stick. But I think it gets them in a, I think it opens the gate where they'll sit down and listen to the deal. Truly. I think it gets them on a logical basis where they, I mean, what's the guy going to say to you? Everything I just said to you is the absolute truth. Right?
Right.
I fabricated one thing. You tell me you're going to live another 20 years, you and Gloria said you spend $2,000 a year, you're going to solve through $40,000, Joe. Out of your own mouth. You like our way better or your way better? And that's the only thing you guys got to decide. It's like find reasonable doubt. Don't want to convict them, but all I got to do is convince you of reasonable doubt. You follow what I'm saying? I just want them to say, well, you know, are they going to understand every bit of this program sitting there buying it? No. There's always going to be some gray area about condos and so on and so forth. I want to narrow it down to that reasonable doubt. I want you to look at Gloria and go, well, I don't understand every bit of it, but I will agree with this. It's better than our fucking plan.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Right. Well, I think that, I don't know. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Hey, it's worked so far, man.
Well, see, I think when you stop looking at people like Marks, like Mooches, Googans, and Ups, and you understand that why wouldn't you want to give those people the same courtesy that you'd like to be paid to yourself?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, say that I went to one of these things. How do I want to be treated?
Right.
Okay, first of all, you can say what you want about these Googans, and what if these Googans, I ain't got no job.
Right. Right.
And I don't want to work for Haynes.
I think selling them on timeshare, and I do a good little I'll show you what I do with on time. Because you know, you got to figure everybody you talk to. I mean, how many people that come through your doors in there do you truly believe they've looked at timeshare before?
Almost all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do is I tell the people, I say, listen, folks, I'm not here to sell you timeshare. I don't care if you ever buy one or ever go look at one. But I'm going to tell you something that I know to be an absolute fact. Timeshare resorts are probably the nicest places to vacation, if they're not the nicest places to vacation, anywhere you guys go. And that's the truth. I've been all down the Caribbean, bro. The timeshare resorts are the nicest fucking places to stay, without question. Orlando, Myrtle Beach, Virginia Beach. I would say, Joe, if you and I were next door neighbors and you said, I'm going to Myrtle Beach with my wife and kids, where's the best place to stay? I'd say, Joe, get you a timeshare book, find a resort down there and call them, see if they'll rent you a unit. Because they're the best fucking accommodations anywhere you go, and they're the best amenities. And we're in a Holiday Inn. I tell the people, I said, I'm not picking on Holiday Inn, but it's $300 a night here, and your kids would have that little dinky pool outside the parking lot to use. That's it. How many hotels have you ever been to, Joe and Gloria, that had 15 swimming pools, water slides, lazy rivers, movie theaters, bowling alleys? You ain't never stayed in one. So they give you the best accommodations, they give you the best amenities. 65% of all the timeshare sold in the world every year is sold to people who already own it. Well, God, are they idiots? No. Since when's a vacation ever meant to be an investment? Never had. Joe, Gloria, y'all been married 20 years, you spent $2,000 a year, you're $40,000 lighter than you were 20 years ago, Joe. You're not expecting to get any of that money back, are you? No. People want nice accommodations. The problem with the timeshare, so I want them to build them up, because that's what all vacation clubs have going for them. It's the condo. Mm-hmm. The rest of the shit ain't worth it. It ain't. The hot weeks and getting a condo for $300, $400, $500, that's the deal in vacation clubs. You can go online and get the same fucking deal for airfare and all that shit. But I tell them the problem with timeshare is that what they don't tell you people, well, a fact, RCI's confirmation rate last year was 46%. That means less than half the people who put a request in got what they wanted. Well, if you guys called and tried to book a vacation in Aruba, they tell you there was probably no availability. Well, if you got on a plane and flew there instantly and drove into the parking lot, you'd see half the units empty. And you'd say to each other, well, why did they tell us there was nothing available? Because what Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, Wyndham, all of them do that they don't want you to know is they'll never sell more than 50% of their inventory. Why? Because as soon as they sell 51%, the controlling interest goes over to the property owners. They're not going to have you setting the maintenance fees and the assessments and so on and so forth. So what they do, they sell this unit, this unit, this unit, this unit, this unit. They don't sell these. Well, what happens to them? We buy them. And we're an aggregator. We come in and buy all this inventory from RCI and II.
That's our pitch.
Huh?
That's our pitch.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And our confirmation rate, of course, they say it's 93.5%. I don't believe that. But
We use the term developer weeks. We have the developer weeks.
Right, and there is actually 14 million unsold timeshare weeks in the timeshare system. And ours is yours live inventory?
Yeah.
That's also used. I said, you know, people who own timeshare have to look in the book, pick out 3 different choices, 3 different dates, call in and go, gee, honey, I hope we get it.
As our podium guy says, if the moon and stars line up in the right configuration.
Does he do this in the podium, or do you do it?
Well, I talk about the developers have to keep 51% because they'll go from Class A to Class B member of the condo docs, and the homeowners association will now dictate the destiny of that resort. They're not going to let that happen.
Exactly. So your big wholesale conglomerates like us, RSI, whatever your name of you, we come in here and we buy this inventory. And it's nothing magical that they do. RSI's been in business for 31 years. They know what the members do. They can go to Royal Caribbean and say, we know that 85,000 members are going to book Caribbean cruises this year. We know that. We track them. You want our business? What do you think they say? Well, of course we do. Well, we need a deal. And that's how we do it. We do mass buying, and you get the benefit of us, like Walmart. Why does Walmart put the little TV store down the street out of business? Because Joe can only buy 10 or 15 TVs at a time. Walmart buys 10 or 15 million of them at a time. There's nothing that Joe can do, and that's what we do with this. But yeah, because, you know, some of them are, like I say, in these vacation clubs, bro, the condos is the deal, buddy. The rest of the stuff, I don't think is worth a crap. I think you get just as good a rates by you and Gloria going on the internet.
Yeah, that's what my younger brother did. He actually had bought some, and bought a package down in the beach. I think it was the, what's something out there?
It was a vacation club?
No, it was a timeshare.
Oh, it was a timeshare.
Yeah, but he went ahead and, he went back to the house and checked on the internet, and he saw that he could get a much better price, better locations.
You could buy the timeshare cheaper?
Right, yeah, much cheaper. So he went ahead and bought it on there, and then he went back to the timeshare unit and canceled. And he was, of course, out there, you know, everybody was pitching people, you know, says, no, I found a better price on the internet. Says, oh no, come on out of here, come on out.
Oh, I bet they helped him way out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he got a real good price on. So does he like it? Where did he buy his timeshare at?
Well, he bought one that was a South African club, because of course, places you get there and their club membership you can't get in the United States, but it'll be here in the United States. And so, of course, then he got one for a seascape down in North Carolina. He got one of those from my parents, and he had that from my
That's
mom
not
and
bad.
sister.
It's an old place.
Yeah, but they enjoyed that because, of course, they never went home with the beach, because that's what my sister's getting.
If you buy a place that you like,
Yeah.
you'll like timeshare.
Yeah, we usually, you know, that's usually what he did. They didn't go down with this year, though.
If you and Joe were going to buy one, I would say pick some place if you like the mountains, buy one of the mountains. You want to be on the beach, wherever you guys enjoy. In other words, I would act like you'd never be able to go anywhere else but there. Buy it. That's why beachfront properties are so hot to sell, Marriott's and stuff like that, because, you know, somebody comes down there, you're either into the beach or you ain't. And if you're in Myrtle Beach, you're in the beach.
Into the beach.
And people go back there every year. And they do. That's the problem with being there for a lengthy time. All the people you sold over the last 5 or 6 years, they're all coming back to use their week there. Oh man, it was brutal. Absolutely brutal. I don't know, man. I might have to go back in the timeshare business in Myrtle Beach. The scroll. Debbie says they're doing real well at Westgate. Closing 30%, I don't believe that.
Well, you and I have a $40,000 presentation for a $599 deal.
Really? Really? Shame you can't have a hard store somewhere.
No, that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it would.
It does.
And you couldn't sell it for $5.99
No.
either. You'd have to jack the price up.
Then I'm like everybody else. But the guy I was talking to today said, that's brilliant, man. No buildings, no secretaries, no tours, no gifts, no two cruises. He said, I can see now why you can do it for that price.
I'd have to even do it for more than that, though. I think $5.99 sounds too cheap.
Well, right now we just want to load up
I know.
the war
I know. Around $8.95, $9.95.
We need like 500 sales.
Right.
Then we can do whatever we like with the price. But $5.85 is a late end. I mean, we want to do a website where there's videos. You come on and go, hi, we're Tom and Mary from Butt Crack, West Virginia, and we give Joe $599, and shit, here we are in a 2-bedroom condo in Kitty Hawk for $200. It only costs us $5.90 or $5.85.
Why don't you do some type of a drop? You know, put it on there for $8.95, and if you do it for this month or this year or the first 500 or whatever y'all want to come up with, we'll give you $400 off or $300 off or.
Well, not that much, because see, the price is so low, our minds are conditioned to think in those terms. You and I have never encountered a $599 or $585 sale where the commission is everything but $10. This is a concept pretty hard to.
It's almost, to me, it would scare me because I would think it sounds too good to be true. For $585, I'm going to get all this. Wow. It just, to me, it just, I don't know, it just sounds like it's just.
Here you go. But then you look at the guy and say, look, I felt the same way. I do feel felt found on it. you know, felt same way as you did, felt the same way. Until I found out that they've been in business for over 20 years. They handle all the government's leisure time travel, all 6.
Are you allowed to use their name and information in your website?
Sure.
You can. What's the name of them again?
Hemisphere.
Hemisphere.
But we really never would call them Hemisphere because they don't want traffic driven that way.
That's what I was asking you.
So we would say the company that you would be getting your vacations from has this history. Now they're going to believe that's us. I ain't going to tell them any different. I didn't tell them it was us. I said the company that you will receive your benefits from.
The fulfillment company.
The fulfillment company has this history.
Right.
Now
I just tell them we're in enrollment.
Now we're going to make $100 every time they book a condo.
You will?
Yeah. This is the back end money. The back end money is huge. We get 15% of all travel from rental cars.
That they do.
Yeah, we get 15%.
And then you get $100 for every condo they book?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a deal, bro.
Oh man, once we get 1,000 people booking through our agent, this is big money. This is real big money. And like one lady told me, she says, well, how in hell can anybody make $5.99? I said, even though there's discounts, there's also profit in your travel. Now, if you think $200 a week is too much for a condo, why would you be concerned with who gets the profit applied?
Oh, yeah.
What difference does it make? It's $200 a week to you.
Right.
Now,
condo clean, ain't nobody else living in there when you show up.
Yeah.
That's all I care for.
And for $585, you know, that's enough money to, yeah, I'm thinking about it, but it's not so much money I really got to think about it. So $585 has a nice ring. It's not $59.95. I mean, I think sometime in our culture we have to get rid of this $19.95. Everything is like the lady said the other day. She goes, look at these prices: $49.99, $49.99, $89.99.
Yeah.
You know, and she said, I know what it is to draw my eye over to the 8, not the 9, because I had $5, it's $9,000.
Right.
I said, well, don't think of that.
When are y'all gonna be able to go on TV?
As soon as he gets back from Florida, we're going to have a production meeting down on Granby Street at WTBC. And the commercial, the timing is right. The press for travel clubs has been positive. Even Arda likes it.
I'd read part of that article on the TV ad. I'd have to say this quote, put it underneath the screen, quote from Art or whatever it says about vacation clubs.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's strong, man. I'd like to read that.
And the commercial would definitely be, you know, look, when we decided to bring this message to you, so many said, oh, you need to hire professional people to do this professionally. We didn't agree. Okay? I've been in the travel business for 30 years. I don't need anybody to tell you what I think is probably one of the best things any consumer will ever see. All right? Direct to the fulfillment company, and all of a sudden you start showing what you offer. The entire thing is for the rest of your life, for 10 years, for $585. Now, you will never find a better advantage in travel than what you're looking at right here. Why do you think I'm on TV?
Right. I forgot it was 10 years. So that, your price is all right for 10 years.
Well, if you say forever, who's going to believe it?
Yeah. Wow. Well, if you can get your name out there, buddy.
You speak for that.
I'm sure you've heard all about the vacation clubs and the tours and everything else, haven't you?
Well, for example, right here, Hacienda del Mar, Cabo, St. Lucas, Mexico, a studio sleeps floor for $250. Retails $1,000. On and on.
These are y'all sheets?
Yeah.
Let me see them.
See, Tom and Mary, how many of those do you gotta take before 585 makes sense?
One.